This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs on the Hogstein Network.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent, Season 5, Episode 27, brought to you by Rick Snyder's Washington on social media, and I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
And we're back discussing all things Washington life and sports as part of the mighty Hogstein Network on audio and here on YouTube on video. So this week, Washington is now going to Denver, the Mile High Club, and and then they have the bye. Mm-hmm. So it could be 2-6 at the bye, which I've seen them worse than that. But, I think they played a little better last week against Green Bay, but that doesn't mean, is it a one-off? The defense finally get mad enough to go play a good game, and that was it. You lost and the air goes out of the tire again. Or maybe it's the start of a turnaround that they can actually play a little, and then maybe they can beat Denver.
Going back to the Green Bay game, I was impressed with Danny Johnson. Obviously, we've seen Danny Johnson mostly on teams and as a returner. I thought he played very well as a corner. Obviously Jackson was out, which no big miss there. Green Bay probably would have put up more points if he was playing, but I thought Danny Johnson played well. Kendall Fuller had a pretty damn good game too, from what I saw, obviously, aside from that miracle catch that Devontae Adams made, but not many receivers in the league are going to make that catch. Denver is a weird team to me. They just lost Thursday night to Cleveland, and Cleveland was led by Case Keenum. Obviously, Baker's out. But Denver is one of those teams that started 3-0 and has just completely fell apart at the seams. They're very reminiscent of Carolina. Carolina did the same thing. I know Darnold got benched on Sunday. So I think they can go into Denver and win. I don't see any glaring reason why they're just going to lose. I mean, the past couple games, why are they going to lose to Green Bay? Well, Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers are going to carve them up. Why are they going to lose to the Chiefs? Well, they've got Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman. Like, they've got all these playmakers on their offense that Washington just can't keep up with them. Teddy Bridgewater doesn't scare you, Jerry Jeudy, their best wide receivers, are hurt for the year. Their defense is okay. Their defense was very good in the first couple of weeks, but they like I said, they've kind of fallen off. So call me crazy, but I feel like they can go into Denver and win.
Yeah, if they could play like they've been playing better recently and losing, I think they can win this one. I mean, it's a weird thing in Denver. The weather can change so much in the quarters. Some guys actually have trouble with the being up 7,000 feet. Yeah. So the air's a little thinner. I've spent a lot of time in Denver. Yeah, it can catch you all of a sudden. So they have some weird things that happen there. But yeah, I think they can win this game. I don't know if they will, but I think they can. And it comes down to the defensive line again, which played a respectable game against Green Bay. I wasn't an exceptional game. It was just at least somewhat of what we expected out of them. Mm-hmm. They sacked too. They made a little bit of plays. They can play a lot better, but they've played a lot worse. So I agree with you about Danny Johnson. I really thought, maybe. And then Landon Collins up more at linebacker, I thought had a better game.
He's your leading tackler. He had 7 tackles, 1 for loss.
So, they played better this way. Maybe this is the direction you go. You at least try it. I mean, you played Aaron Rodgers. He didn't rough you up too much.
Yeah. Look at last year's defense when they were a top 5 team. You had a dominant defensive line, but you also had guys like Ronald Darby that you brought in off the street and then ended up getting a $10 million contract with Denver. It was guys that they brought in and plugged in and played as people got hurt. We didn't find out about Cam Curl until Landon Collins got hurt. Cam Curl was just a 7th round draft pick that was quote unquote lucky to make this team. And he was going to be a teams guy. And then all of a sudden he was, one of our better safeties that we've had in a long time. It's these little guys. It's the little guys, not in size, but it's the little guys that are making their impact. They're depth guys. I still need to see more from Chase. Sweat had a nice sack on Rodgers, but it was a coverage sack. I mean, Fuller on the outside played pretty well, I feel. like I said, maybe this defense is going to come together. It just, Jackson just wasn't a fit right now. It's a new system for him. It's a system he's not used to playing. He's not used to playing zone. He's more of a man corner. And we know they're playing a lot of zone. But yeah, I mean, I don't see anything glaring as a reason that we are going to lose to Denver. I think it's going to be a pretty evenly matched game, actually.
And that's the ones you got to win. I mean, I'm thinking this season, do they go 5 wins? Maybe 6. Carolina down the road. At one time, you thought that's going to be a tough game, and of course, they're losing. Vegas.
Russell Wilson's still out.
Yeah, and Vegas is lost their coach, and we'll see what happens with that. Somebody said, "Oh, they'll beat the Giants." I said, "Well, they already beat the Giants. They'd lost 5 straight before. I wouldn't call that a win." They'll probably win one of the Eagles games. I don't think they'll beat Dallas either time.
No.
So, they could get 5-6 wins, and you go, now you're way off the draft pace again, unfortunately. But if they won 6, it's only 1 less than last year when they made the playoffs.
For just grins and giggles, I looked up our draft position right now. We are slated to pick 7th, and luckily, a lot of teams in front of us were not in the quarterback race. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of the year. But yeah, I could see them ended up like you said. The Denver game, I think that's pretty much a toss up. They're pretty evenly matched. Carolina is not imposing anymore. You could catch Seattle sleeping because Russell Wilson's hurt. Vegas seems to be playing better under the interim coach than they did against Gruden, but who knows? And then, what is Philly and what is New York going to be at the end of the season? I mean, those 5 games at the end of the season are still going to be, the linchpin for their record. Obviously it's going to keep them from, they're not going to win the division like we thought with those 5 games, but, it's going to put them in a position. Will it put them in a position to draft a quarterback of the future, or will it knock them out of that positioning?
The one thing about Vegas too, they started playing better for the interim coach, but I've always found teams they'll give you a game or 2 with a new coach, and then they go back to whatever it is they were.
Yep.
Very few times does it just keep going. So by then they'll have expelled all that energy, and Washington will come in there. Washington does get a bye after Denver, so they can regroup a little bit. Now the trade deadline is November 2nd, which is just days away now. And I thought about it. Would you trade for Deshaun Watson? And I don't know what the price is going to be still. But I would say we all know when he's traded, he's going to get sanctioned by the league. Okay, he's not going to play much this year anyway. Go ahead, bring him in, burn the suspension, start him next year. If it was a reasonable price, I think they should consider it.
Yeah, I would definitely consider it. If the quarterback that you want is not there in the first round, and there's nobody really in that first round that's going to come in and make the impact that a Deshaun Watson can make, give him the first. If you got to give up maybe a player or an extra pick somewhere, we've all heard that the Texans are asking for a big price tag on him, but the fact of the matter is he's tainted goods right now because we don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, wherever he ends up, he's going to get sanctioned by the league. He's not going to play this year. So like you said, burn the suspension this year, let him get it out of his way, and then start fresh in 2022. And the fact of the matter is we've got weapons here for him. You've got 2 pretty decent running backs in Gibson and McKissick as far as catching threats. You've got 2 pretty decent wide receivers. Obviously, we haven't seen much from Curtis Samuel this year due to injury, but I would go ahead. If you make the trade for Watson, I would shut Samuel down for the rest of the year. I would let him nurse that groin. I would let him go get his surgeries, whatever he needs to do. Obviously he doesn't want to do that, but it's what's needed. If you make the trade for Watson, you focus on 2022. And that's what I would do, because Watson, who's going to be better in the first round than Deshaun Watson? You know what I mean?
Well, you just have to make sure, and this team does its due diligence on all players, as we've heard. Just make sure there isn't something we don't know about with all these court cases and that kind of scary stuff. You've got to have your real private investigators make sure you're okay.
Well, now of the 25 or so women that have accused him of this, is there going to be any kind of, obviously, are they going to be civil cases, or are there criminal charges that are going to rise up? That's one thing that you need to look at.
Right. And right now there's none, but that doesn't mean when push comes to shove, you don't see them all of a sudden.
Right.
I'm surprised that things are languishing in the courts and all. It takes forever to get through court stuff.
Yeah.
The time. So I don't know. So we're coming up on Halloween, and people that don't realize it thinks Matt lives in a hallway or something in a room, but what's the house behind you? Because Matt's done a Halloween theme and none of you have noticed.
The house behind me is Michael Myers' home from the movie Halloween.
Oh, okay. I don't watch scary movies. I have enough problems.
See, I figured that would be your wheelhouse. This movie was made in 1978. You taking, young Rick full of hair, taking a girl to the drive-in to go see a scary movie so she'll cuddle with you.
Nah. At that point, no. So, okay, well.
Yeah, I guess your oldest daughter was born just a couple years after this 1979. So you were probably already with your wife at that point.
My oldest daughter was not born until 1985. Thank you.
Well,
so,
okay.
I've been years, but so all right. So you have a Halloween picture of you and your wife, and I totally didn't know who you were or any of this stuff. And that's what you're going to go in the neighborhood looking like? No.
That was for a Halloween party. Every year we go to a Halloween party. The pictures on my Twitter, I was Post Malone and my wife was Bud Light. So yeah, no, every year we do a Halloween party over at my buddy's house. No, I'll be taking the kids around as a normal human being because I can't walk around with fake tattoos all over my face as a 39-year-old man taking my 3-year-old trick-or-treating.
Well, the crazy part is Washington plays at Denver, 4:05 start.
No, Vegas.
Yeah,
it is Denver. You're right. What am I talking about?
And I'm like, what sick bastard did this? We've been trying to watch the game, and every few minutes the doorbell's going to ring. I mean, maybe, I'm known as Mr. Wilson in my neighborhood, so, maybe they won't bother me. But I thought, it's going to be a pain in the butt to everybody trying to watch the game. Maybe at halftime kids will come out or something. I've got, healthy treats for them, so they won't show up here. Maybe
you're like a raisins and grapes guy.
Nah, I bought those individual packets of pretzels because I don't need any candy around me because I can't eat any of the stuff. So if I had all those Snickers bars laying in the house, I'd be back in the ER, So I eat something like pretzels I can eat.
There you go.
I do things and I eat pretzels. So hopefully I won't get my house egged. But
you live at the end of a road anyway. I doubt kids venture that far out anyway.
I get very few anymore.
Yeah.
In recent years, I just don't think people take their kids trick-or-treating as much, blindly as we did as kids. We just went to anybody with a door. They do that anymore.
Yeah, now it's all about the trunk or treats at the church or at the school.
My dream as a kid, when I haven't trick-or-treated in about 50 years, but we always thought, how cool would it be to live in a big apartment building? You don't have to go outside in the cold. You just take the elevator up to each floor. Yep. I thought, got it made. And now all the kids got these nice costumes. We had a bed sheet with holes in it. We just made us the ghost, and we walked around in it. I mean,
man, you really did live that Charlie Brown childhood, didn't you?
Pretty much, man. It was in the houses were far apart. You lost weight, going trick or treating door to door on it. But we had fun. Nothing else. Not like I'm now malnourished. All right, I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
See you soon.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Seasons of Discontent on the Hogstye Network.